Hello everyone, change of plans again. I wanted to go with the Assassin's Creed Shadows and Kazan the First Berserker reviews, but as I'm late with those anyway, they can wait. In the meantime, I figured I'd do a review on the Clair Obscur Expedition 33. As the usual, I'll talk about most in-game systems, graphics, performance, gameplay, etc. As I don't want to spam YouTube with videos each day, you can look at this as a beginner guide because you might learn a thing or two if you are late to the party like I was. Without further ado, let's delve into today's video. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 took Steam by storm and almost everyone online has a positive reaction to the game. By looking at the trailers, I was afraid the game will be too pretentious for my taste and I wouldn't enjoy the turn-based combat, but oh boy, I was wrong. This is a Souls-like, story-rich ARPG, dark fantasy, turn-based combat game that can be only played in single player. First, a few words about the studio. Founded in 2020 in France, Sandfall Interactive is a video game studio developing premium 3D games for PC and new-gen consoles. I quote, "With a focus on single-player experiences, we want to deliver incredible stories with intriguing characters in gorgeous fantasy worlds." The next sentence is what made me smile. "We build the best pipelines we can to achieve this goal while keeping the creativity and agility of small teams." I'll let that sink in for a minute. And without further ado, let's get going by starting with the gameplay. I'll cover the difficulty first, then combat, characters, equipment, controls, the world, and so on. You'll die a lot in this game, especially if you play on expert. I stayed in expeditionary difficulty throughout the game, and I still wiped a lot, and during certain encounters I almost switched to story difficulty, but I didn't, and prevailed in the end. I'll probably release a couple of guides for some of the bosses in the next couple of days. Basically, it all comes down to dodges and parries and how fast you learn the encounters, and of course come up with synergies between characters and their abilities. As I said, you can dodge or parry enemy attacks. Dodging is pretty easy, not trivial, but it's just easier than parry because that has a very small window of action, but if you land one, a counter attack triggers, so you can damage the enemy even on his turn. But I always start by dodging the attacks in the first time I encounter a new boss or monster type because I don't know the timing of the attacks. You can parry only after you wipe a couple of times at an encounter, learning its attack patterns and stuff. So to enjoy this game more, go in prepared to get thrashed a lot. If you like a challenge, that is. If not, just switch to the story difficulty and the parry and dodge have bigger windows there, I believe. But yeah, I like a challenge, so I stayed on the intended difficulty, Expedition. On the defense you can dodge and parry, and on the offense you have these quick time events for extra damage. Then later into the game, in the beginning of Act 2, I believe you have gradient counters introduced. Basically same shit like parry or dodge and jump, but it's a different type of attack you need to recognize, nothing special. And as an attack for you have gradient attacks, obviously, that can be used after you fill up the gradient charges bar with regular skills. Each action point you use fills the gradient bar, pretty easy. I just love how they did the combat in this game. All the animations are fluid and dynamic with great looking FX, and everything has weight to it. It's pretty cool. The fact that the combat is turn-based is making you figure out shit on your own pace, because by design you need to think what to do next. You'll still need to hit the combos once you decide on what to do, but you can just sit there for 5 minutes if you want between each action. It's also nice if you have a kid and need to go away from the PC often, and I'll say it again, it's a very satisfying combat system and I enjoyed it way more than I thought I will when I installed it. The camp is the place where you and your companions rest, talk with them and upgrade your gear by that spooky NPC with a gaping hole in his head that you first need to defeat in the manor before he moves to your camp. Pictos and Lumina are essential for character builds, providing build-defining passives and enhancing up to 2 substats like health, speed, attack power, defense and crit. Unlock Lumina effects after winning 4 battles with a character that has the corresponding Pictos equipped. Activating using Lumina points, Lumina effects can apply to multiple characters simultaneously but do not grant substat bonuses. Listen, everything I said was confusing as fuck, but you'll figure it out after a while. You just need to think what bonuses you want on what characters to play on their strengths and you'll be fine. Skills are mostly fine, but I fail to see the usefulness of some of them. As a note here, there are skills that explode in your face if you don't hit that quick time event. It's pretty funny, but can be infuriating. Each weapon has one of the 8 elemental damage types: physical, earth, ice, lightning, void, fire, dark and light. They scale with attack power that's increasing when you put points into might. The cool thing with weapons in this game is when you equip a weapon, you are shown 1 or 2 more attributes that scale the weapon power. So when you level up, you need to assign points. You will realize it's pretty intuitive process. If you stick with one weapon throughout the game, you can just keep pumping those stats. If you change it, you'll need to respec. The cap is 99 anyway, so by the end of the story you'll be maxing out one stat if you invest heavily into it. Outfits and hairstyles are only cosmetics for your playable classes, I mean characters. And each character has a different set of outfits and haircuts that can be obtained in various ways. The world of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is beautiful and it offers you a pretty linear experience. Not to say there is no player agency on where to go, but you are limited by collisions each time you enter a new area and stray away for a bit and want to explore it. The world feels bigger than it actually is because of the nice backdrops, but the gameplay area is pretty small and sometimes linear. It's a very similar experience as it was the case with Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. The levels are a bit bigger though, so don't panic. I'm tired of all these games that try to sell you a huge empty open world anyway. I'd rather have a single player confined experience like this. You'll still be lost many times because there is no map once you enter an area from the continent, which is the only area that has an actual map. Think of the continent as a hub and you go to these different zones as they unlock. But once you enter one, there is no compass, no minimap, no quest markers, nothing. So you'll end up running around in circles on multiple occasions, I'm sure. But I enjoyed that somehow after my brain adjusted and I accepted the fact that this game will not show me every little fucking thing I need to do like I'm a toddler. At first, you travel the continent on foot like a peasant. After a while, you'll unlock Esky that allows you to stomp some of the impassable terrain and reach new areas. Later on, he will swim with you, allowing you to cross the pond, and by the end he will even fly. On the continent, the gameplay camera is more zoomed out and has a very low aperture, so there's a strong depth of field effect, blurring everything. I don't really like what they did with this. You can't even see where you are going sometimes. Because you want to run past a rock, for example, only to find out you went straight into a pack of monsters, because that rock was a freaking monster. So yeah. When you approach a pack of monsters in this game, you need to press F to have the initiative, to have the first attack bonus, to start first basically. And yeah, if you just run into it, they'll attack first, so yeah, you need to dodge and parry, because sometimes, especially if you have good synergies and equipment, you'll kill a pack on your turn, you know. They don't even get to the point where they attack you, and this is why first attack bonus is important. So yeah, this is the first major thing I dislike about the game, by the way. And finally, on this section, the controls are customizable, but very well thought out on the mouse and keyboard at least. I think keys like F are hard-coded, meaning you can't change them, but it's fine. I mentioned it because I know some people get annoyed by these things. No idea about controllers. The only thing that annoys me is the fact that there is some kind of mouse smoothing that is not exposed anywhere in the menus. So the camera has some inertia and was driving me nuts at first, but I got used to it eventually. No idea why there is no option to get rid of that thing, and a lot of times when I press the W for spells, my input is not registering or something, so you'll often end up pressing W a second time. Yeah, the game has a great checkpoint system. You die and you always respawn close to your last encounter, which is really cool. And one last thing, I promise, the platforming is pretty nice. I know a lot of you hate it because you fall very easily, so you have to be precise with the jumps or you will fall again and again. I kinda like it, but I'm weird like that. Now, the story. Without spoiling anything that is not being said to you in the first hour of gameplay, the game throws you into a twisted yet beautiful world where your fate is dictated by a scary looking painter that reminds me of the movie The Ring. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 takes place in a dark fantasy Belle Epoque setting. Every year of the past 67 years, the people of the isolated island of Lumiere live through an event called the Gommage, where a goddess called the Paintress paints an ever-decreasing number and all humans with an age above that number disintegrate or something. Every year after the Gommage, Lumiere sends an expedition of volunteers to head to the mainland in an effort to slay the princess before she can paint a new number. Expedition 33 is the latest to set out. The story is very dark and sad if you think about it. These people are on a timer basically. They are all the 32. Yeah. Just think about it for a minute. If you're 30 years old in this world, there's no point to make a kid, you know, because you won't have enough time to spend with him or her. It's pretty sad, and this thought, as a parent at least, scares the shit out of me. And I'll stop here, but not before I mention the fact that I love the voice actors. They did a great job. No idea how they sound in French, because I didn't try it, but English is more than okay for me. The only thing I could nitpick here is I'd like a bit more emotion at times. Almost everyone seems too calm and calculated, even in extreme situations. But even so, the dialogue seems so natural and the flow of the conversation feels so good. Especially if you press F to answer right after the other character is done talking.
I couldn't, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have,
So A+ for the story from me. And one more important thing I'm sure a lot of you didn't know about, press F during a cutscene and you'll be able to skip it or pause it. So all those pesky boss cinematics that you watched over and over because you died, you can skip them from now on. If you didn't know about this, please subscribe to my channel because yeah, let's make defensive games great. I like to insert things like this in my reviews so they are useful in more than one way to you, my viewer. Now, continuing with the story, I know a lot of people hate one moment. I'll not spoil obviously, but to be frank, I believe it's fine. I did not have an issue with that story bit. I even liked the unexpected surprise, you know, and yeah, I'll stop here. It's pretty hard to talk about the story without spoiling it. Just two more things I didn't know where to put. Wardrobe choices reflect in the cinematics, and that's a pretty cool thing. I thought those are pre-rendered, but apparently they are not. What I liked about the story is the mount and the perfect moments I could just relax with another bit of lore. After a hard boss fight where I wiped multiple times, it was always a welcome break to sit and watch a cinematic or two for 5 or 10 minutes. The graphics of the world and the overall art style is very intriguing. It's like a weird fever dream. My environment artist senses are tingling while I explore this game. I'll start with the only negative I got, and that has to be the hair rendering. I don't think the hair is rendered as beautifully as it was in Dragon Age the Veilguard, for example, and I'm talking about the anti-aliasing here obviously, because I like how it's modeled and how the light interacts with the hair of the characters. Other than that, it's all good. I enjoyed exploring the world. Yeah, no other words should be needed, as you can see for yourself how it looks the entire videos. If you like this art style. The performance, all these volumetrics and all the good stuff I just talked about come at a cost though. The performance of this game is not stellar. I don't think it's bad. But I have a 4090. At first I played this with the old drivers and the performance was pretty bad. I had around 60 to 70 FPS, but after I upgraded my drivers without changing anything else, it jumped to 80 or so. This might have to do with the fact that the starting area, the town of Lumiere, has a bit more details than the rest of the world, but I have no idea. I played this with DLSS enabled, by the way. There is no fake frames options in the menus though, and sadly no FSR. So I think AMD users got shafted. I'm sorry for that. Because the game has Intel, PSR and DLSS, but for some weird reason no FSR inside. Check some gameplay from a creator that has a similar rig as you before you buy it, because on the lower end I have no idea how it runs, especially without frame gen. The TLDR of this section is I had no FPS problems once I was past the first area of the game, and I got only one crash. That happened in the last zone of the game. Now the easier section of this video is pricing and monetization. I got the game for 45 euros and I strongly believe it's a steal at that price. There is no day one DLC or any kind of bullshit pass or any in-game shop for that matter. It's an honest game priced accordingly, actually is cheaper than it should be. This is a 60 euro game in my opinion and the value proposition is quite high. I finished the game in 40 something hours and there's a lot more to do. I can go on and play New Game Plus because it has that. If you're a completionist, I believe you can easily go past 60 hours. I'll start the conclusion with a mini rant. There is no popular game in the last couple of months or even a year come out and not have 10 of these stupid "is this game woke?" trash threads on the Steam front page. Not a single one. And let me be blunt please, game's not woke, period. Moving on now. Or maybe if you think having a female protagonist in 2025 is woke, then yeah bro, it's woke. But whatever, it's all nonsense to be honest. Both sides of this argument must go out, meet and wrestle for a bit just to settle these bullshit posts like real men. On a serious note now, this game so far is a complete package. It's pretty rare when a game has such a beautiful world, great gameplay, backed up by an incredible score and story. The voice actors did an amazing job. I don't know man, this game oozes passion. As a guy who worked in this industry for forever now, let me tell you, you can make good games only with passion. That's the secret sauce ingredient. And for that, I'll give this game a 9.5 out of 10. For people who are allergic to quick time events and or have the reflexes of an old geriatric octogenarian, this game is a 7 or 8 at best. Just keep in mind you can do all encounters by using only dodge, so you don't need to parry. Especially if you play it on story difficulty, where I believe the dodge and parry windows are a bit bigger. Amazing how much 30-something developers are able to do in 5 years of focused development with a clear vision, start to finish, and no switcheroos because someone in the board of directors thought it would be better for their bottom line to change and bastardize the core pillars of the game. So please stay like this, guys. It's one of the rare games I don't even need to make a pro and cons list because almost everything adds to the experience. Thank you for such a cool game, guys. Peace.